guys. Our hand sanitizer guide is finally done, so I wanted to provide a quick video where I'll go over some of the big takeaways from this super comprehensive guide that Dr. Hopkins researched for us. And of course, I'm going to be having a special emphasis on COVID because I imagine that we are all becoming those crazy, constant hand sanitizing parents, mostly because we're afraid of COVID. I will also let you know a couple things about what you're looking for in general in a hand sanitizer once this nightmare is over. So the really good news right out of the gates is that COVID is a very wimpy microbe, meaning that it's super easy to kill. It's an envelope virus, which without getting too much into the science, basically means that it has a liquid membrane that is very easy to break, and therefore you do not need, as you probably know, heavy duty bleach. You don't need to be Cloroxing everything. You really don't even need alcohol, soap, and water, as you've heard a million times from the CDC. Just really scrubbing your hands will get rid of COVID. That will also get rid of most other microbes that you're going to be worried about in your general life. So you don't need any special products that are labeled as antibacterial. So I thought it was interesting to learn that COVID is easy to kill. The influenza virus is also an envelope virus that's easy to kill. And the non-envelope viruses like norovirus that causes that hideous stomach flu, rhinovirus, which causes a lot of what we think of as the common cold, those are actually harder to kill. So all of this hand sanitizer that we're all toting around, I have a million of these. This is my favorite gel brand, and we sell them in our store, so I got them in every pocket of every outfit I wear. This is actually not probably as great for things like the rhinovirus as would be some other ingredients. So it's just an interesting thing to note that right now there's all this focus on 60% alcohol in every hand sanitizer, and that is pretty specific to the pandemic that we're in now, as well as the flu, which is like usually my my second concern if I am using hand sanitizer. So that's actually good news. So again, there's the two types of alcohol. I mean, again, you want to have alcohol for coronavirus. It's a safe, super effective ingredient. And you'll see either ethanol or isopropanol, I think is how you say it. There are some, my husband, the scientist, is laughing at me. Is that not how you say it? Isopropanol. I've read it a million times. First time I've said it out loud. So there are some distinctions between these when it comes to effectiveness for certain microbes. For COVID, it doesn't matter. For flu, it doesn't matter. You don't need to worry. And they're both the same amount of safe. So don't worry about what kind of alcohol is in your hand sanitizing product. One important thing to note is that alcohol increases the absorption of other ingredients. So this is why it's really important that when you are picking a hand sanitizer, the fewer ingredients, the better, because alcohol is going to increase the absorption of everything else. So if you have a fragrance that's laden with phthalates in that, especially some of these brands that have really high levels, 75, 80% alcohol, it's really increasing how much of all that other stuff is going to get into your bloodstream. So that's really the only downside to alcohol. It is not a harmful ingredient in and of itself. So there's a lot of brands out there, and if you go to Whole Foods or any health food store, you're going to see tons of hand sanitizing brands. Most of them are kind of this classic four ingredients, most of the good ones, I should say, which is alcohol, which does the germ killing job, as well as hydrogen peroxide, which basically does the same thing, water, and then some kind of usually glycerin to make it somewhat moisturizing. So that's a great combination. I think a lot of brands are just private labeling the same ingredient list because you're going to see that a lot in the healthy, safe, non-toxic brands. And those are great, again, especially if what you're worried about is coronavirus or the flu. There are, of course, a fair number of what we're calling sneaky brands. One ingredient, and you're going to see this all in the guide, one ingredient, which I'm going to mispronounce this too, is quaternary ammonium. And that's strangely found in a fair number of natural hand sanitizing products, and it's not the worst thing in the world, but it's a skin irritant. What did I say it wrong? So,
No.
I was laughing. It bothers people with eczema. And it can be a lung irritant in higher concentration. So avoid that if you can. And then I wanted to give a special shout out to a really great ingredient that Michael figured out when he was doing this research, which is hypochlorous acid. Bleach, as you know, should be avoided. It's an environmental toxin, and this smells like bleach, which throws you off a little bit, but it's basically just hydrolyzed water and salt. It's what's in Force of Nature cleaner, the reason that I love this is this, if you're worried about all microbes, this does it all. Like if you're gonna be using something in your kitchen that you want to make sure there's not salmonella, and you don't want your kid to get rotavirus or the flu, or of course, because coronavirus happens to be on the easiest to kill spectrum, anything that's going to kill these harder things will also kill COVID. We'll also kill the virus that causes COVID, the disease. And it's totally safe, this hypochlorous acid. It's also what is in Lumion Skincare, and now they make a hand sanitizing product as well. And I've been talking about that for years. I really like it as a face spray. So again, it's going to smell a little bit bleachy, but don't let that freak you out. It really is benign, and it kills everything. So there's very few hand sanitizer brands besides Lumion that use it, because it's just sort of new, the technology anyway. So, but for your house, I love the Force of Nature cleaner, and I have a discount code, I think, which I will post for that, and also for Lumion. And then finally, there are a range of essential oils that will kill coronavirus, and they will kill certain other microbes that you might be worried about too. Thymol, citral, this is what you're going to find in Cleanwell's non-toxic antibacterial line, and that they're super safe. 7th Generation uses Thymol and citral in some of their products, so you've probably used it in a 7th Generation bathroom cleaner or anything that's labeled antibacterial in their line. Also will kill COVID. So those are the big things I wanted to touch on. In the guide, you will read lots more about which specific compounds kill which specific germ, and how to figure out if it's good, bad, or sneaky stuff. But for me, again, I love this one. It's got a simple ingredient list. It's super moisturizing. You don't need to use a lot of it because it is very moisture rich, and so it doesn't dry out my hands. It doesn't have a smell, and it is certainly effective against what we're trying to fight right now. So please post any questions that you have below about specific brands or anything else in the hand sanitizer world, and I hope that you enjoy this very comprehensive guide from Dr. Hopkins. Thank you so much, Michael. You really gave me a lot of work to sort all through this, but now I know more about germs than I ever thought I would need to.